Hello everybody, I am Pratham Oza, a PhD student at Virginia Tech, and today I'll be talking about our work, Timely and Non-Disruptive Response of Emergency Vehicles, a Real-Time Approach. In this paper, we will discuss how we can leverage the real-time properties of emergency and non-emergency vehicles by modeling the traffic infrastructure as a real-time scheduling problem. By formulating this as an optimization problem, we will showcase that we can provide timeliness guarantees for emergency response vehicles while reducing travel delays for other vehicles. We will evaluate our approach using hardware-in-loop emulations and finally conclude by discussing some future directives of this work. Traffic congestion not only impacts day-to-day commute but also affects other critical infrastructure utilizing the road network. Congested urban roadways and inefficient traffic lights cause traffic delays, increase pollution, and increase commute times. Emergency vehicles such as ambulance, fire trucks, and police cars, which utilize the roadway, also get heavily impacted. This could lead to life-threatening issues and unsafe driving conditions for ERV drivers to meet their response times, as a delayed response could lead to grave repercussions. This leads to unsafe driving, which can cause further collisions and congestion. Therefore, the existing traffic control approaches must make special accommodation for allowing quick traversal of ERVs, which is known as ERV preemption. In current practice on freeways, there are dedicated lanes for the emergency vehicles where the other vehicles are prohibited to drive. This ensures that the ERV gets the fastest route. Similarly, in suburban spaces, the non-emergency vehicles can safely pull over on the edge of the road to let the ERV pass. Also, there is minimized risk of cross-traffic movements in such cases. However, when it comes to dense urban areas with multiple intersections, due to a restricted land resource, it is not feasible for the ERV to have a dedicated lane. During peak hours, the roadways are mostly congested, leaving no space for non-emergency vehicles to change lanes or pull over. An approaching ERV may in fact cause confusions amongst the drivers who tend to make unsafe driving maneuvers within lanes to let the ERV pass. This could lead to increased response times for the ERVs, unpredictable wait times for the non-ERVs, and possibility of collisions. To avoid this, the traffic infrastructure needs to incorporate ERV preemption strategies in design. Most intersections nowadays have detectors such as 3M Opticom to detect an approaching ERV within the line of sight. As soon as an ERV is detected, the lights are turned green for the emergency vehicle to safely cross the intersection. This is a decentralized approach which depends heavily on the detection mechanism and the traffic flow in ARV's link. Urban areas have closely spaced intersections, and decisions at one intersection can cause congestion at the next. This in turn leads to the ERV waiting for longer time before the traffic gets cleared, with the condition that it is still detectable at the next intersection. Therefore, the decentralized approaches do not facilitate ERVs in urban areas and in fact can cause gridlocks, spillbacks that could hamper the traffic flow across the road network, and local decisions lack considering network-wide traffic flow. State-of-the-art solutions now propose utilizing the V2X capabilities of the roadside units and the dispatch systems to notify about the ERV's arrival well in advance. Green wave technique is one of the most popular centralized traffic control technique where consecutive traffic lights along the ERV's route are turned green until the ERV has safely cleared the road network. Now the ERVs can safely and quickly traverse through the multiple intersections at once without facing any congestion. However, if the green lights are not opportunistically triggered, it leads to prolonged red light at multiple lanes, which could further cause spillback propagation. This spillback can hamper ERV response elsewhere within the network and also have unpredictable wait times for non-ERVs. Therefore, in this paper, we propose a preemption mechanism that ensures safe and timely ERV traversal through a network of intersections. It also considers emergency vehicles of varying priorities. This information can be obtained from the connected infrastructure. Urgency levels have been used in emergency care to decide the line of action and has been standardized through a triage scale. We make use of this triage scale to facilitate rapid ERV traversal. Through this priority, we can now provide response time guarantees for the ERVs while also reducing travel times for non-ERVs. Further, by leveraging the properties of the real-time task model, we can provide worst-case response time performance bounds that can enhance the predictability of the emergency dispatch systems as well as non-ERV wait times. Next, we will dive into the details of our real-time task model and look into the specifics of our proposed preempts. A real-time task model for traffic instructions was proposed by us in RTCS at 2019 and 2020 that looks into scheduling traffic through intersections and a network of intersections. However, these prior work does not consider emergency preemption. For this, we consider a 3x3 network with multiple intersections. Each link within the network has a queue. They have a capacity which when violated causes spillback, and a traffic flow rate defined by an arrival rate. Therefore, the vehicles are modeled as aperiodic tasks with certain release times and execution times, and the traffic lights are resembled by a sporadic server. The green time for the traffic light corresponds to the budget of the sporadic server, while the traffic cycle length corresponds to the minimum interval time of the sporadic server. Using this, we have certain notations that we use in the paper to denote a lane, link, and arterials within the network, which are used for the formulation. We will now look into the vehicle flow and traffic parameters of the system. Here we consider vehicles moving along north, south, and east-west directions as non-conflicting flows, since these flows can access the intersection at once without impeding each other. For simplicity, we do not consider turning vehicles, but later in this presentation, we will see that turning vehicles can be included by making minor changes. The cycle time across all intersections in the network is same and synchronized without any delays. The traffic manager task is then responsible to govern the sporadic servers in our road network. It is a lightweight task whose computation time depends on the size and the latency of the network. The size of the network can be chosen to ensure that the TM task remains lightweight. The arrival time of the task is set to start of each traffic cycle, but it is interrupted when an ERV notification arrives. As seen, there are 4 traffic lights at each intersection. However, the north, south, and the east-west lights are paired and are provided equal budgets respectively. If turning vehicles are to be counted, the total budget then needs to be split among 4 directions without coupling. While the formulation remains consistent, we need to consider more sporadic servers at intersection. We will now see how ERVs can be incorporated in this model. For this, since ERVs are also announced as per the dispatch calls, it is modeled as an aperiodic task and is represented by its current location, its current speed, and the priority. The priority is determined through the triage scale, where each priority level has an associated delay tolerance. For an ERV of the highest priority, there is no delay tolerance and it is necessary for the ERV to cross the network as quickly as possible. However, the lower priority ERVs can have relaxed deadlines and they can wait within the intersection and still meet their response times. This additional time can be used to schedule the servers serving the cross-traffic movements and thereby ensuring that the resource starvation does not lead to spillbacks and congestions after the ERV has safely crossed. Moreover, due to the connected infrastructure, we also receive the ERV route information and know what intersections the ERV is going to travel through. Based on the locations and the ERV's current location, we can determine the arrival time of the ERV. Also, based on the delay tolerance for the priority, we can assign a deadline to the ERV task. We then break down the traversal of the ERV into multiple subjobs that correspond to the ERV traveling from one intersection to the next. The arrival time of the ERV task as well as the subjobs depend on the location, the desired speed, and the distance obtained from the route information, while the deadlines depend on all these 3 criteria as well as the priority and the delay tolerance associated to ERV's priority. With the ERV task model established, as we saw earlier, the dispatch notification is received through the connected infrastructure well in time before the ERV actually enters the road network. This means that we can use this time to organize the traffic, especially the traffic in the cross traffic movements of the ERV flow that is going to experience longer red lights when the ERV enters. Further, we also have information of the delay tolerance from the ERV priority and triage scale. Using this approach, we can assign arrival times and the deadlines to the ERV task and its subjob such that the ERV's response time is guaranteed. We can then assign the remaining budget to allow the cross traffic movements to access the intersection before the ERV actually enters to clear the queues. Additionally, if there is some delay tolerance we can use that to let some cross traffic to access the intersection even when the ERV is within the network if the assigned deadline allow us to do so. It is important to note that rest of the network is still following the optimal traffic control policy by taking the additional budget allocations for ERV preemption into account. Our proactive preemption relies on how early do we get the ERV dispatch notification. However, that may not be the case all the time. Sometimes due to oversaturated traffic network or failure of communication delays, this may stop the TM from receiving such proactive updates. In such cases, critical preemption mechanism is employed in which we do not have any additional time before the ERV enters, nor do we have the priority information of the ERV. However, our offset-based budget reservation along with the recovery approach post-ERV traversal ensures that the cross-traffic movements remains red only for the least required amount of time, and that after the ERV has passed, additional budget is allocated to these flows to ensure that the long vehicle queues built up are dispatched. Again, the TM still manages the network-wide budget allocation considering the preemptive budget requirements, and therefore the spillbacks and the delays are still minimized across the network. In all, when there is no emergency vehicle dispatched, the traffic manager follows a default traffic control scheme, but upon receiving an ERV request, it assigns a proactive preemption or a critical preemption approach based on the arrival time and the deadline of the ERV task and its subjobs. Once the ERV has passed, it enters the recovery phase where additional budget is provided to the cross traffic movement. Therefore, we can get rid of the spillbacks and congestions across the network, and optimal budget is assigned for links which are unaffected by this congestion. When the congestion is cleared, the default traffic scheme is again activated. The TM assigns the budget to the servers based on the minimum and maximum demands for each link within the road network. The minimum demand corresponds to the demand that is required to avoid spillback within the next traffic cycle. And the maximum demand corresponds to dispatching all vehicles within the next traffic cycle. The assigned budget, closer it is to the minimum demand, it will be prone to longer queues and spillbacks. Closer it is to the maximum demand, there will be reduced queues and the spillbacks are highly unlikely. Therefore, the objective function of the optimal budget distribution policy is maximizing the assigned budget across all servers within the traffic network. Since higher the assigned budget, the larger would be the green time interval, the higher would be the throughput, and it will lead to reduced delays. With this, we'll now look into what constraints are implemented to ensure that the emergency response vehicles' travel time is guaranteed. For our proactive preemption, we assign a budget to the server serving the ERV's traversal lane such that the minimum budget demand is achieved to meet the ERV deadlines. So we ensure that the minimum demands is satisfied, and anything more will only help ERV travel faster than its deadline, but we still satisfy the ERV deadlines. Similarly, the cross traffic movements are then given the maximum budget requirement to avoid spillbacks. Again, this is done so to avoid overutilization. We also avoid over and underutilization of resources across links within the road network. We also avoid spillbacks in all links as the traffic flows through the intersections. And we maintain schedulability at each intersection by ensuring that the total assigned budget does not exceed 100%. Therefore, we avoid overlapping green lights and a collision-free intersection is established. Similarly, in a critical preemption scenario, we want to ensure that we dedicate entire budget to the emergency vehicle lanes and the servers serving the emergency vehicles. Therefore, 100% budget is assigned to those servers, while the cross traffic movement is not allowed to enter the intersection and is hence assigned 0% budget. The rest of the utilization, spillback, and schedulability constraints remain the same. Once the ERV safely clears the road network, we trigger the recovery preemption, and here are the constraints for the preemption recovery. We want to satisfy the minimum demands of the links where the ERV has already traversed. Therefore, we only assign the minimum budget required to avoid spillbacks in these lanes, since they have already gotten a lot more budget allowance, and therefore the queues are almost cleared. However, the cross traffic movements have suffered through resource starvation, and to alleviate this, we dedicate the rest of the remaining budget while ensuring that the total utilization does not exceed 100%. The other constraints remain the same, which ensure that there are no spillbacks and we maintain schedulability in the system. We will now look into the hardware and large-scale simulations for our emergency preemption approach. We compare our proposed proactive preemption as well as critical preemption with recovery with the decentralized detector-based ERV preemption, where lights are turned green when an ERV is detected and they return to normal operations after the ERV clears the intersection, and the green wave-based ERV preemption, where all traffic lights along the ERV's path are turned green and they return to normal operations after ERV passes safely. To test varying traffic flow rates, we vary the traffic flow from 1 vehicle per minute to 6 vehicles per minute, which is about 540 to 3600 vehicles per hour crossing the intersection, which abides by the Federal Highway Administration volume to capacity ratios. Since the main goal of the preemption approaches is to ensure that the ERV travel times are minimized, we compare our proactive preemption with the state-of-the-art approaches. We show that with proactive preemption and ERV having the highest priority, we can provide up to 40% faster ERV travel compared to no preemption in place. Similarly, with varying traffic flow rates, we can guarantee up to 15 to 37% faster ERV travel times when compared to decentralized ERV preemption. This is due to the network-wide traffic awareness of the system. Further, no difference was obtained when compared to green wave approach, since green wave approach is a greedy mechanism which always ensures the fastest possible ERV travel. We now measure the non-ERV travel delays in our proposed approach as well as the green wave based approach. Due to our proactive preemption method, where the ERV information was received 60, 120 and 180 seconds before its arrival, the non-ERV travel delays were reduced by 17.9, 33 and 61% when compared to green wave approach, and no difference was obtained in ERV travel time. Similarly, when the recovery mechanism was in place, we could see about 21% improvement in non-ERV travel times when compared to preemption without recovery. Similarly, in critical preemption plus recovery, we could observe up to 8 to 26% reduction in non-ERV travel delays with varying traffic flows while avoiding spillbacks. It is important to note that green wave approach experiences spillbacks under heavy traffic flow for all cases. We now show that by using ERV priority into traffic control, we not only provide guaranteed response times for the ERVs, but also show improvements in average non-ERV travel times. As seen here, as the priority decreases, there is a higher delay tolerance for the ERV and more budget can be assigned for cross-traffic movements to access the intersections. Therefore, as the priority decreases, the average non-ERV travel time also decreases. We now use a hardware in loop testbed to implement our preemption mechanisms. Here we implement 2 of the intersections with robots mimicking human driving behavior on the hardware, while the rest of the intersections of the network are simulated through a traffic simulator. The HIL testbed reveals that with the green wave preemption, all traffic lights triggered to green at once and the long vehicle queues take longer time to cross the intersection. As green wave preemption sometimes experiences spillback, it reduces the speed of the ARV upon approaching the intersections. However, in the proactive preemption, the budget allocation is such that the minimum requirements are always satisfied, and more budgets is provided for links with longer queues, and therefore leads a smoother ARV flow through the network. We finally conclude our work by showcasing that all the available approaches either focus on minimizing travel delays and there is no accommodation for ARV preemption. The dedicated ARV preemption approaches lack coordination amongst the intersections to reduce ARV response times and also reduce non-ARV travel delays. Our proactive and critical preemption with recovery is an end-to-end deadline-driven preemption approach which ensures timely ARV response based on priority, reduces non-ARV travel delays, and the recovery approach ensures that we return to normal traffic operations as quickly as possible. In the future, we want to test our proposed approaches on realistic traffic environment with open source maps and varying traffic conditions. And we also want to extend the approach for multiple ARVs simultaneously accessing the traffic network. Thank you for your time.